Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Recovery 101, brought to you by Promise Resource Network, the Disneyland of service providers in Charlotte, North Carolina, the universe. Okay, so we'll just put that out there. So today's class is Recovery 101, and what we're going to talk about is what you choose to lose, right? What you choose to lose today, because it is about choice. So we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Changing our habits painlessly. I don't know about painlessly, but we'll give it a shot, right? But before I want us to get started, I want to talk about our warm line. Let me bring up the number if I can. Our warm line is a 24/7, 365, every day of the year, every night, every morning, you can call. If you need resources, give us a yell. If you need just to talk to somebody that'll understand, call us. The warm line is manned by peer support specialists that have lived experience, meaning that we've experienced incarceration, treatment, hospitalization, homelessness, all those things we've experienced. And the person you get may not have the exact same experience as you, but we all know fear. We all know anger. We all know being down. So we can talk from a space of understanding. So if it's 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon and your mama's on your nerves, give us a call. If it's 3 a.m. Wednesday and this is kicking, give us a call. I know that in the middle of the night I have the hardest time. So it's an option for us to reach out to somebody who will understand and help us. So if you need support, if you need resources, whatever you need, give us a call. All right. So I'm going to leave that number up there. It's 833-390-7728. That's 833-390-7728. All right, we ready to get started? Nice. Good deal. We've got 7 folks here today. We got a big crowd, and I love it. Going to have a lot of conversation today, and that's beautiful. So change any habit. You know how I love definitions. I always start with definitions, right? Because it helps me to understand the words I want to use. So change. Replace something with something else, especially something of the same kind that is newer or better. Substitute one thing for another, and we're going to talk about that, substituting, because we've got to have something to put in when we take something out, right? And then we've got habit. What is a habit? A habit, a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. That's what a habit is. It's hard to give up, whatever those habits are. What are some habits that aren't so beneficial? Anger can be a habit. Absolutely. What else? Smoking can be a habit that we want to change. They do. And we're going to talk about that. What causes us? Why do we do what we do? Right? I love this quote. Watch your thoughts. They become words. Watch your thoughts. They become your words. Watch your words. They become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become our character. Watch our character, it becomes our destiny. Yeah. Yeah. All the time. Watch your thoughts, those cues that happen. What comes in our head that creates that desire for that habit, right? So we want to be able to change these habits. Want to change an old habit? You probably should. Let's lose should. It probably would be beneficial. One study determined that over 40% of the decisions we make every day aren't really decisions. They're habits. Much of the time we don't really make decisions. We do what we've done before, And that makes us less productive, less effective, less healthy and fit, less everything than we could be, than we want to be, right? So 40% of our decisions, I think I'm making choices all day long, but what's actually happening is I'm falling into habits because I'm used to doing them over and over and over again, right? So how can we change a new habit? Well, hold on. A habit, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's what they told me in the 12-step rooms was and actually the Einstein's definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And that's what a habit is to me. I expect this to make me feel better, but in the long run, it generally doesn't. When I'm talking about a habit that doesn't benefit me anymore, that's what I want to change. I want to do something different today. I want to do something besides be angry, besides smoking, besides overeat, besides whatever it is that I'm doing today that doesn't meet my need. Right? All about needs.
Interesting conversation with me and Robin at this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I really sought to speed. I shot myself into a day. I got a coffee, I got a cigarette, I got to shock myself into something because I'll always be working on our infinity level. You know what I'm saying? I'm driving past 55. I can't drive 55.
There you go. So
I'm saying behavior.
Yeah. Don't sing. Just please don't sing.
That cigarette smoking stimulates you. And
instead of relaxing it. Yeah.
I want that.
We're going to talk about that. Why do I do what I do in the morning? Why do I get up, have a cup of coffee, have a cigarette, get on Facebook, and waste about an hour? I'm on Facebook for an hour. I get up early so I can be on Facebook for an hour.
Wow.
That doesn't meet my need because I've got other things I could be doing in the morning that will better my attitude. Right? But that's not a decision. Every morning I get up and boom, boom, boom. Because I'm used to it. Because it's what I do. Right? So when we decide these behaviors, these attitudes no longer feed us, that's when we want change. Or that's when I want change anyway. Changing a habit isn't easy though, is it? No. It takes a while. Yeah, thank you. So changing a habit isn't easy. It is simple, especially if we follow the process described by Charles Duhigg. The key to understanding that we can extinguish a bad habit, but you can change that habit to get the same result, the reward we currently get from the old habit. So the key is to understanding it's hard to extinguish. It's hard to get rid of that habit, to take that thing away without replacing it with something. Right? A friend of mine is quitting smoking, and her change is to replace that cigarette with a vape, and eventually replace that vape with no nicotine at all, right? By creating another habit. So when we take something away, we've got to put something back, or it doesn't work in the long run. Okay? So here's how to change a habit. Y'all know I love a good how-to. Anybody have any habits outside of smoking and anger that they'd like to put out there that they want to change? See, because when I put it out there, when I say what I want to change, I'm more accountable, aren't I?
Right.
If I say I want to quit smoking, Al will go, "Did you quit smoking yet?" And I'll go, right? It keeps me accountable to somebody else. And that helps me, because if I think, Alan won't like that, so I don't do it.
I made this with Jane. She told me, she said, "Why you put that coffee around and put water in behind it?" I drink a cup of coffee. I need to put that same amount of water behind it. So I've been doing that.
Replacing.
She'd be like, you had water. She used to say that. Now she don't have to say that because
it has become a habit. It has become a habit. As opposed to doing 2 cups of coffee back to back, you do coffee and then water because someone suggested it as a possible different behavior, right? That is better for me than 2 cups of coffee, a cup of coffee, and a bottle of water. Right?
Coffee itself stimulates you, but you balance it out by diluting it with water.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. It's about doing something different today so I can get something better. Right? Yeah. Something better for me. Some way to get my need met that doesn't harm me. Right? All these things can be habits that we want to change today. Okay, that's fine. All right, so step 1 on changing a habit. Redefine must. I must do this. Think about your typical day. Very little of what you think you have to do actually has to be done that way. Okay? Think you need a cup of coffee. You don't. Somewhere along the line, you started drinking coffee, decided you liked it, and decided you liked the caffeine kick. That's what we were talking about. And now it is indispensable habit. But it's not. It doesn't have to be. You do need to drink liquids, but you don't need to drink coffee. Yes, sir.
You just said indispensable habit. I lost it for a minute.
Yeah, it's not an indispensable habit.
We want to change.
It's something we want to change. It's something that we can change today if I identify the must of it. Everything we do is based on some amount of reasoning, but how often is what we're doing the best way to accomplish that goal?
But is it like a bad thing or is it a good thing? This is why I stopped myself because I want to be here as early as possible. And I always show up somewhere 15 minutes early. So if I have to do paperwork, I go to a lot of doctors. Hey, come 15 minutes early. Like it's always be 15 minutes early.
There you go.
So I got to shock myself and to motivate me to get the hell out of right now. Sometimes it's weird. I get my phone out and once somebody catch, I time up the longer I got to be there. Fortunately, I make it there. But sometimes I get complacent in my thoughts of cleanliness isn't straight enough,
Did you used to be late?
No.
Oh, you never was late. Okay. So doing that habit of coming early works for you. You get done what you need to get done before all the hoopla starts. Yeah. Right? That's cool. That's the way. That's what we want to do. We want to replace that I'm late all the time with a way to get early, or at least on time, right? Yeah. That's my goal.
That's my goal.
I'll
settle on time, but I want to be early.
My best friend is at least a half hour early for everything, or at least she used to be. Well, I broke her because I was always 15 minutes late for everything. So what we've done over the years is when we go somewhere, we negotiate. Okay, what time are we going to leave? So she'll say, we're going to leave at 7. So I'm ready at 7, even though we're going to leave 15 after, because she knows I'm never ready. So that's a habit I have. It's a habit I got to break. But we can negotiate that. And that's accountability that we were talking about. If I'm accountable to somebody else, I'm more likely to choose something different.
But
right?
What I was saying is the cause of me getting that done is that bad that I have to shock myself away.
Absolutely. We changed today.
Coffee, that's in hand, both in hand. Shocking myself.
Yeah. We do something in the morning to wake ourselves up. It's not necessarily the best habit, though. Yeah. Like for me, it takes me an hour of playing around on the computer before I get ready to come to work. What could I be doing with that hour? Man, I would love to really create a habit of prayer and meditation in the morning. Do something that feeds my spirit more than the radical conversations on Facebook.
Sharon, you know this. Once you start that habit of prayer and meditation, you get so filled up that the next day you say, I'm going to try that again. That felt pretty good.
Yes.
And then it becomes, damn it, I don't have time for prayer and meditation.
Yes. So then I don't get that boost.
Right.
Right? So we're going to talk about the reward that we get from our habits in a second. But you're right, we get something out of it.
Yeah.
And I want to shift what I'm getting out of this not so great habit into a different habit, a habit that benefits me. Right? Something that helps. All right. Must is a feeling that results from a habit. The only way to change a habit is first decide that must can actually be negotiated or even eliminated. I must do this. I have to do this. I should do this. Right? Those musts, I think I've got no choice. But remember, we do. We've got a choice in our habits. It's just that we're used to doing the same thing over and over again. And that's what created it. So, must can be shifted, can't it? I must do this. Can be shifted in I want to do this. And if I can put must to wanna, I want to do this, I can shift it to I can change this habit. Right? It came from a must to I want, and then I can do. Right. But that must isn't necessarily the end all. The end all. We want to be able to do things that are different, that shift us from I gotta do this every morning or at night before I go to sleep. Whatever these musts are, we want to be able to identify them so we can shift them, shift our thinking about it. Yes, Rodney.
Now, prayer and meditation. I was in the Oliver Gospel Mission. It's like a bottle-based recovery. And you be in there 6 months and you don't see outside. You just in the dome, in the area, and it's kind of pissed off and everything. And people walk past because it's right downtown city on Tucker Street. You know what I mean? All people walk past and we sitting there and they stop smoking. Okay, they put out there and they was talking about putting meditation in place in that, right?
Wow.
I got so displaced in my mind because my mind was shocked. So it was just like,
yeah.
You know, so, you know, but I started meditating and then, you know what I'm saying, it's like, it's a must because I can't smoke a cigarette, so I must meditate now, right? And start focusing and I did better scores on the tests we had, you know, because I was meditating, you know, the course.
You shifted.
Yeah.
You shifted from one habit to another habit.
Back to it. So,
but we're going to talk about that in a minute, how to create a habit. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is determine the cue. The trigger that sets us into that habit. Every habit is based on a simple loop: cue, routine, and reward. The cue is that trigger that, based on some craving, shifts our brain into autopilot and initiates the routine.
What did you say?
I said every habit is based on a simple loop. A cue happens, a trigger happens. And that's what starts that craving, because it actually is a craving. A habit is a craving we have, is a must we have. So in order to get that reward to fix that craving, I do what I've always done, right? So I got to identify what's that thing that triggers me in the morning. My desire to get up. My desire to start the day in a way that I'm used to. Coffee, cigarette, Facebook, right? I'm used to that. So I want to be able to shift that. But we don't have anybody chatting this morning. Come on, y'all. Come on in.
What are we talking about? taboo kind of stuff. Quit smoking. You know?
Yeah.
Quit
Your doctor says that every morning, doesn't he? Or every time you say
You
it.
don't want to hear it again.
Yeah. But it's a good point. If that's our desire, but it's got to be our desire first. We want to understand what starts that process. Remember, it said a simple loop. It goes back around and around. Cue, routine of doing it, and the reward.
What is the cue?
The cue is like a trigger.
Okay.
It's just a different word for trigger. Something that
How do you spell it?
CUE.
CUE.
Mm-hmm. So it's a loop. We do it over and over again because we get something from it, right? So whenever you feel an urge for a habit, that urge is a cue. That urge is, lose cue. Let's just talk about trigger. It's a trigger. Something happens. We were talking earlier about where people go to smoke. And I know for me, when I go over there, it's a social thing, right? Because everybody's there. And that's what I'm craving more than I'm craving a cigarette. I'm craving that social interaction. And that's where I go.
It's an old thing, you're in the office and all everybody around at the water cooler, and he's sitting around.
And that's, yeah. I don't really. Yeah, I don't really want water. I want that camaraderie. Right? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. But when I go to the smoking section, I smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily what I want to do because I'm kind of working on changing my habit of smoking. And I say kind of because I don't have that great desire yet and need. I'm not ready to change that must. I'm not ready to change. And that's all right. If we're not ready to change something, that's all right. But we can always do things that benefit me more and more and more and more. Right?
Think about this, I'm 60 years old. I mean, these other people, just older than me. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, really, it hasn't harmed my health as much.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So I'm not into that.
Yes.
I gotta quit this on my diet,
Yeah.
So it ain't a diet thing.
Yeah.
It don't stress me, but it ain't a diet thing.
Yeah. And we got to have that desire. We got to have that motivation to do something different. And that's what starts it. I want to do something different today. I want to change my habits. I want to change my words. I want to change my thoughts. I want to change my character based on shifting a habit into something else, replacing it.
Right.
All right, so the next thing, determine the routine. The routine is easy to determine. Your routine is a manifestation of the habit. It's the cookie at break time, or web searching in the morning, or checking out email right away. Something we do over and over again. Something I do at 8 o'clock every morning. Something I do at noon. Something I do because I'm used to this loop. So when I figure out the routine of it, when do I do this? If I can figure that out, I can shift it. If I can figure out what that time of the day is, what that activity is that causes that trigger, right? So I want to know my routine every day, because when I identify that, it's easier. It's easier to shift. Does anybody have a routine they do over and over again?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been doing this for probably about 2 years. I get up at 3 or 4. 4 is the latest I like to get up because I have too much to do to get out of the house. So, pour myself a cup of coffee, wish I had a cigarette, sit down and go to my sliding glass doors and look at my kitties to see, like feral kitties, to see if they're out there ready to eat. And I drink my coffee and pray. There's a couple of prayers I say, and I read a couple devotions. And I might even start praying for my friends. It depends. And so then I get up and feed the little pig poos, and they're so happy, and I get them water. And then I have to ice my knee. I had an operation in January, so I have a brand new knee. And so it's a habit that I have to do. So I get the ice all ready to put on my knee. I lay back down and I pray and meditate. That's my prayer time. Oh, and it's so good when I can do it, when I can actually lose myself in my mantra, which I do on occasion, but at least I keep focused on one thing and it's not me.
Yeah.
And then what do? Oh, then I get up and it depends. I brush my teeth, and wash my face 5 times, and I go to a meeting. I do a 7 a.m.
It is that routine that you have. Every morning you do that. Every morning you do that. And that's beautiful because there are things that you do that are beneficial.
Oh, I feel so good.
Isn't that good when we do that? Absolutely.
And I need to minus the cigarette.
Yeah. Okay. That's something that you can work on. Mm-hmm. That's once you identify that routine. I have it with coffee first thing. What can I put in there?
Right.
Right. What can I put in there? Prayer and meditation.
Right.
Absolutely. When we do these things, they become the routine that we have. I do this, 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 and this. I am very structured in the morning. Okay, so I do my little morning thing, and then I take a shower, brush my teeth, da 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 da. I do everything the same way every morning, so I won't forget something. Right? That's my reward, so I won't forget something. The other day, someone came into my bathroom as I was brushing my teeth, and it totally threw me off because I was like, okay, what do I do next? Oh crap. So I had to start all over. I didn't shower, but I started the other process over again, right? Because I'm in that habit, because I'm in that routine. I feel that there's a reason I've got to have that routine. It makes me feel better for some reason. It helps me feel like I'm in control more, right? Rodney.
Well, since I'm in another season of my life, right? First, it was like work, and then it's like addiction, and then it's like work, and then addiction. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of thrown all over the place of where I need to be and where, so, I mean, addiction was a different kind of setup of how I wake up because I'm just rolling out of bed. You know what I mean? I'm just rolling out, and I'm already ready to roll because I'm probably dressed in my shoes box still. So I'm ready to roll. So that was that routine. Then my work routine is, and then my kids' routine, I done went through many seasons in my life.
You're exactly right.
Right.
Our rituals, that's a good word. Our rituals change as we change, and as those things change that reward us. Mm-hmm. Right? There's got to be a reward or we wouldn't do it. Everything I do is based on a reward, even my not so beneficial habits. Right? I get something out of this. If it's a need for control or a need to fix a craving, to fill a craving, there's some kind of reward with this. And the reward isn't always easy to determine. Maybe the reward we get from our habits is a feeling of control. Maybe it's an, oh, good, nothing often will happen overnight. That feeling of relief. Think about what craving your habit is really satisfying. Going to the break room for a cup of coffee might not really be satisfying a cup of coffee urge. What we really may be craving is the chance to hang out with other people and get coffee as an excuse, right? So we want to be able to figure out what am I getting out of this? What am I getting out of this? Because if I can determine that, I can figure out a way I can get it a different way, right? I have that craving for a cigarette first thing in the morning. Maybe I want to shift that to a vape, right? Or maybe I want to shift that to a totally different behavior. But I got to figure out what I'm getting out of this so I can figure out a different way to get it. Okay, does that make sense? Reward. We don't do anything without getting something out of it. We get something out of everything we do. Every behavior gives us some kind of some kind of reward that we do. We work hard to identify the reward. You don't need to deny yourself a reward. You'll just make the way to get the reward a lot more productive or positive. A lot more productive or positive. That makes sense, doesn't it? I want to do that.
I'm going to say this one. One of my daily routines was trying to get my kids in the bed, time enough so I can wake them up, and time enough so they get enough sleep, and time enough to get to the bus, and time enough. And then do my routine behind getting rid of them. Mm-hmm. The whole get to bed thing was the whole fight of it, because it was kind of pretty much easy for me to wake them up, you know, when they had enough sleep.
Yeah. That's the reward. Their reward was stay up late and watch something I'm not supposed to, or just keep going. I don't want to go to bed yet. Oh, that's it. That's it. That routine people have, and there's a cause and effect. There is that reward that we have. Whatever it is, your reward is they can get up easy in the morning. And that makes my life easy.
Easier with that trying won't wake up. You know, you ain't got to wake up. You know what I'm talking about. I'm looking for an easier, softer way to do things. Yeah.
Right? I don't want to have to fight to get this reward anymore. I don't want to have to do things that harm me in one way or another. All right. So we change the routine is the next one. Now that we know our cue and our reward, all we have to do is insert a new routine, one that is triggered by that cue and that also satisfies the current reward. So simply find another way to accomplish our reward. Walk the floor instead. Make a couple of quick calls, prayer and meditation, whatever I want to do. I want to do it in a way that meets that routine, keeps that in place, I want to find another trigger. I want to be triggered to something else because I want to be rewarded in a different way. Does that make sense? All right, good. All right, good deal. Hold on, honey. Hold on. Write it down is the last one. Make it concrete. That helps me. It says, according to studies show that the easiest way to implement a new habit is to write the plan. Make the format simple. And then you got the trigger. When I feel like smoking, I meet somewhere else than the smoking section, right? I want to, because this provides me with connection. Connection is what I want. I want to shift that trigger so I can shift that routine. Okay, does that make sense? When I get to work, I will hang out at the swing set. You can't smoke there, so that's great. I don't have to, I can sit there with my friends and communicate and share and love on each other, because that's what we do here. I want to be able to write down things and then make it an action, right? So when I feel like smoking, I will go to the other building because it provides me also with connection, right? So I can shift that. If I change the trigger, the routine, and the reward, I can change almost any habit, can't I? Yes, Rodney.
When someone intervenes with our routine, it's become, we have to practice. We rebel. At first, we rebel. I mean, I get rebellious when I get told what to do, and I'm not really common to that because I do what I want to do rather than what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. Gucci man. Anyway, yeah, I do what I want to do rather than I want to. I don't need to be told. I think I'm old enough, you know what I'm saying, do what you think.
Well, that's it. That's when it goes to desire. Yeah. Can't nobody tell you what you want.
No.
Right? We're the experts on ourselves. Yeah. And when I make that decision to do something that I desire more than that habit I currently have, that's when things shift.
That's when things shift. That's when actually you go to a shift because
Yeah. Right through there, dear. It says, do that enough times. You're exactly right, Rodney. When we practice, and eventually our new habit will become automatic and will be more productive. We move then to another habit, something else we want to change. So do it enough times, and eventually a new habit will be automatic. I won't go to the smoking section. I won't go to Facebook. I won't have that cup of coffee and then, get hyped up on that. I want to be able to do things that make me feel better. And currently I do things that don't. So I've got to figure out what those things are, figure out what triggers them, what routine I have, and then get a reward a different way.
That's what I'm saying. I'm in so many seasons of, habits, what we call routines.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so many of them. I had this, shift.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's this one. Now I got to eat more fiber and rice and a better bathroom style. And that's interesting word, style.
Anyway. You got a lot of habits and routines. Absolutely. We do these things over and over again. And when I choose to do something different over and over again, that becomes my habit. Okay, what is the 2190 rule? Anybody know it? This is a good one. Build a habit and make it a permanent lifestyle change. The 2190 rule states that it takes 21 days to make a habit and 90 days to make it a permanent lifestyle change. That's interesting. If I can do something for 3 weeks, it is a habit now. And I can count those days down in the same way that I did that with my issue around alcohol. That 21 days, that 3 weeks made a big, big difference. And then once I started doing it over and over and over again, it changed my life.
And 90 days seems like the hardest time of accomplishment to get.
Yes.
It's like it is so painful. 90 days is never going to come.
Yes. So that's when we do it one day at a time, don't we?
Yeah, right. That's
one day at a time. Absolutely.
Go to 90 meetings, get 90 numbers.
Yep. There's a reason behind what we do. There's a reason behind all the things we do.
That's just recovery. We got to recover sometimes for these shifts, like I was saying, these shifting seasons we go through. Yeah.
Absolutely. So if we commit to our goal for 21 days and it becomes a habit, commit to your goal for 90 days and it will become a part of our lifestyle. I want to read the quote one more time. I love this quote because it is so true for me. Watch my thoughts. They become my words. Watch my words. They become my actions. Watch my actions. They become my habits. Watch my habits. They become my character. Watch my character. It becomes my destiny. I love that. I love that.
In Robin class, your class. Oh man,
it's profound. And that's the thing. When people, I have to have the information over and over and over again. I mean, that's just how I roll. Roberta, good morning. That's just how I roll. And I want to be able to shift today. I want to be able to do something different. I want to be able to practice over and over again these behaviors that can shift what I do every day, right? And that creates my destiny. What I do today creates my destiny, right? Roberta says she needs to be reminded to watch her P's and Q's. I understand that. Yes. I definitely have a language issue. All right. So I want to thank y'all for being here today. Good class. We had a good group of folks. I really appreciate y'all coming. I appreciate Roberta being out there. And anybody that watches this later, thanks for being out there. All right. Recovery 101 will be again next Monday at 10 o'clock. Join us. All right. Again, the warm line. If you need to talk to somebody, give us a call. It's 833 390-7728. All right, y'all have a great day. Keep